Okay, when you come to your Protasteel, trying to add this connection, um, I want to manually show you how to add a plate, which is your base plate. We are going to make provision for the bolt opening, and then we are going to be adding our anchor bolt as well. The first thing we'll do is to come to plate, and then we'll click here. We'll try to trace the four corners of this particular concrete that we have here. Okay, so if I rotate this, we are going to see the thickness of this plate. Alright, now I can right click on intercept just to uncheck the current tool. Okay, let me double click on this. Then from here I can change the thickness of this plate to whatever thickness that I want to achieve. So let's say I want to use 16 for this. Then I'll click on apply and I'll click on OK. But you can see this base plates and the concrete will tend to be clashing with each other. If I hold on Ctrl W, it tends to shift it up a bit. I also want to show you this place, which is very paramount, because sometimes when you try to do your modeling or adding your bolts, you may actually not tend to find it even when it's inserting. So you need to actually come to your settings and change the background. If I come to user interface, if I click here, you can see I can change the background color here. So I can change the background color here to whatever color I want, and I'll click on OK. So you can see the background has changed. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting down this concrete so that we don't have a clash. In order for me to do that, I'll come to my edit and I'll come to polygon and I'll specify the depth of my cut as 400. I'll click on select part, select the concrete itself, and I'll click here, click here, click here. Now it has actually created a macros for me. Then now I can actually create an opening for this particular plate. To achieve this, all I need to do is to come back to my steel, and then I'll click on my bolts. I'll click on the plate, and then I will right click. Then I have to click at a first point, click at the second point. Now my bolt has been created, but like I said, I cannot see it now. This was one of the challenges we were having in our class. I forgot that I can switch this to this particular view. So all I need to do is to hold on alternative D. So if you Alt D, it brings it to this, Alt D, Alt D, Alt D. So I'll click on Alt D. Then here I will double click on this bolt. I will have to specify the thickness of my bolt. So this diameter of this bolt is 20 that I want to use, and then I will have to specify the position of this bolt in this particular plate. Now since this my plate, if you can remember, is 300 by 300, so what I'm going to be doing is a clear distance of 50, and the spacing between the two bolts I'm going to be using 200. Now clear distance 50, spacing between the two bolts is 200. So if I click on apply and I click on OK, now you can see this is what we have. So if I double click on this bolt, let's say I just want to have an opening, I want to introduce an anchor bolt. All I need to do now is to click on apply, click on OK, and my opening has actually been created. Now to have an anchor bolt here, all I need to do is to go to my miscellaneous here. I'll come to my anchor, right click, and then I will click on the plate. I'll take it again. This step is somehow confusing. If you don't get it right, it will not work. You click on the anchor first, you right click, and then you click on the plate. So what if in a case where I want to view the properties of this anchor bolt? All I need to do is right click on the anchor bolt. So if I move my cursor around this anchor bolt, I will just right click, it brings the property of this anchor bolt. Move my cursor to the anchor bolt, right click, it brings me to the property. Then I will click on the geometry. It's very sensitive. This area is very sensitive. If you don't do it this way, it will not work. Okay, so if I click now, come to my geometry, I can specify the thickness, this particular curve here at an angle. I can change all of these informations from here. Okay, then I'll click on apply, and then I'll click on OK. Then what I will do now is to click on the plate itself, and you can see we now have our bolts in our plate. I was talking about all of these connections. We have different connections. We have beam to beam connections, beam to column connections, bracing connections, splice connection, pull line and guard connection, base plate connection, truss connections, detailing. So if you click on this drop down of your beam to beam connection, okay, this is just giving you the list of the connections that you can use when you have two beams, okay, that are requiring a connection between them. Okay, so in this case you see we have a primary beam, we have a secondary beam coming together. You have to provide a connection for this. This drawing tends to tell you in the conditions or in area where you require that type of connection. Okay, so it's giving you a preview of how this connection is, or where this connection is supposed to be used. Okay, so the software itself is actually very descriptive. It gives you information and it tells you where you are expected to use each of your connections in. I'm going to be demonstrating most of this for us. Okay, so let's come now to our beam to column. As the name implies, when you want to connect a beam and a column, these are the list of connections that you can use. So you can pick any of these connections based on what you want to achieve. You can see in this case where you have this is a beam at an angle, the other one is the horizontal beam coming together. You can use this type of connection here to achieve that. Okay, you can see beam to wall. You can achieve that by using this type of connection. Okay, you can see here you have another beam that is inclined, then you have a column here. So everything here tells you how you can actually make use of these particular connections. Okay, so these connections, we are going to be demonstrating some of them. Brazing connection, you can see we have the gusset plates when it comes to having your braces. So if you have a brace, to connect your brace with either your beam or your column, these are a list of connections that you can as well use. Splice, when you have two beams, two columns that you want to actually connect with each other, you can use this splice. In the lower version of Protastructure, I think 2021, it does not have the calculation for this splice. So this splice, let's say I pick on slice, I'll pick on this column, pick on this column. You can see our connection has been provided for this. So if I pick on this and I pick on this, connection has been created. Okay, similarly for my brace, you can see here if I want to actually introduce a brace, a connection for this my pole line, I have pole line connection here. Okay, if I come down here now, I can connect my pole line together, but sorry, this is brace, my pole line is up. Okay, okay, so if I pick on plate, this is bolted gusset plate, this is welded gusset plate. So whatever connection you want to use, whether you want to use the bolt or you want to use the weld, is actually very much available. So if I pick on this, I pick this, I pick this, I pick this, you can see that connection has actually been created for me. And as well, I can specify the thickness of my the thickness of this particular plate. Okay, so I can change to the thickness of plates that I want to use. Here, if I come to my geometry here, I can change that thickness. Okay. Okay, I think I was picking the wrong. Okay, that was why it was not working. Please make sure you click on interrupt to uncheck your tool that is currently active. Hold on shift, hover your mouse, shift and hold on, right click, hold on it. You will be able to rotate. Okay, so let's say we want to achieve for my poline. All I need to do is to come to my poline here. I click on this, so you can see it's telling us we have a beam here, we have a poline at the top. So if I click here and I click on my poline and I right click, you can see that connection has been created. So similarly, in a case where you want to achieve some of these connections manually without you being using the IntelliConnect, you can achieve that, as you can see here, by simply picking on the right connection that you possibly want to use for each of your structural member. Okay, it's very easy. It's very easy. I explained this entire interface at the beginning yesterday, how that when you come to your steel, you find your poline, your guards, your plates, your sectional plates, chamfer, bolts, okay, weld and all. It's important that you create a weld for this, or else it will be clashing. Okay, to create a weld for this, all you need to do to weld this to the plate is just to come to your weld here, and then you pick on the line here, and then you pick on the plate, and then your weld, let's see, alternative D. Sometimes these welds take place without you really seeing it clearly because of the choice of that we use. So it's important for you to have your background color tends to affect some of the things you do sometimes. Well, you can see this is coming out, it's not supposed to be so. You can double click here and change this. Once you change that, it goes back inside. Let me alternative D, let me use this. Well, rotate this. You have to weld the entire perimeter of this particular steel. Interrupt. Weld. I'm sure this thing is welding, but I can't seem to see it showing because of sometimes it could be from my background color. Is important sometimes to change. Let me use this. I'm going to try to weld here. Okay. Okay, then here now we have a beam here, we have a column here. If I come to my beam to column connection, I can actually pick on the connection that is supposed to actually work for this. So beam to column end plates, stiffen end plates, fin plates, beam to beam angle cleats, extended end plates. Okay, so let's have these. Sorry, this. Macro field. Okay. Interrupt. Okay. Operation of the profile is not coordinated. This tab is not supported. Okay. Let me use direct welding. Okay, I think this actually tends to work. Let's use this. Well, the bottom line is for you to use your IntelliConnect, because it tends to spare you the stress of trying these connections. If you try to use the IntelliConnect, it will automatically generate your connection for your pull line. All has been created. Connection for your splice. Okay, I have to do this splice manually. Connection for brazing. So you can impute this gusset. Can you put the thickness of the plate? Right click on IntelliConnect. There's no truss here. Column to beam connection. Next. Automatically it will just help you to select the connection that will work or serve better for each of the member. No 26 by case column beam connection could not be connected, so there are some of them that could not be connected. In a case like that, we'll probably need to, that's why it's important for you to understand how to do some of these connection manually. If you come to my splice connection, if I select this, you can see the connection is creating. Okay, I've done for this already. I made a mistake here. I introduce so you may actually need to do some of this manually. Come to my IntelliConnect, Okay, so we now understand how to come about our base plates manually, and also how to impute our anchor bolt. I'm going to be showing you how to actually insert your base plate without you doing this manually. Okay, so if I click on this column, you can see my base plate has been inserted. If I click on, let me try this other plate. If I click here, you can see it has also been inserted, and you can edit any of these plates. Click on interrupt, then double click. Now you can see the thickness of the plate. I can change the thickness of this plate. Point count is 4. The area of this plate, let me calculate this. Detailing definition. Use 16. Okay. Let me introduce a bolt. Remember I said right click on it to get the property. Click on OK, and click here, then you right click, you select the plate. Always click, right click, select the plate. Okay.